Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our distance learning program. You might be surprised to see a new face. So today I would like to tell you that from today on, I will be your new teacher for your level, which is level 11A. So the first thing I would like to do is to introduce myself. So you might ask, what is my name, right? You can call me teacher Chansocheat, and my full name is PENG Chansocheat, right? 4 initials, 4 syllables. It's quite long, but you can address me as teacher Chansocheat. And I hope we are going to learn and enjoy the lesson together, because it is very difficult time right now that we cannot go to school to see each other's face. That is why we are shooting the video to provide the lessons for all of you. And I hope you can use this video, watch the video, and learn from those videos that we made for all of you. So that's it for a quick introduction. I hope you and me can study together. Alright, so without any further ado, let's move on to our lesson that we are going to study today. For today's lesson, because today is Wednesday, right? The course book that we study for today is the Blueprint 6, and this is the core English book, which is the important book that you learn a lot from this book. So what do you learn from this book, everyone? Alright, you will learn some knowledge about the content of this book, and you will learn some of the useful vocabularies that will help you a lot. Moreover, there will be some grammar structure to help you speak and write English properly. But the more important thing is, when you study this book, you will learn a lot of skill. For example, you will learn a reading skill, you will learn some of the listening skill, or you can learn some of the writing skill as well in this book. It is very helpful. That is why all of you need to have this course book with you. Everyone, do you have this book with you? I hope you have this book right now. As you all know, we are studying the module 2, and the title of this, which is the culture. Everyone, do you know what is culture? In simple words, culture refers to the way of life, how people live. So we call it culture. For example, in Cambodia, we live differently from those who are in Europe. So we have different cultures from those in the Europe. So culture, it consists of the way we dress. So people dress differently based on their country, the way we speak, the way we greet each other. For example, in our country, when we meet each other, what do? We put our hand together and we bow down like this. But in the European country, they shake hands, some of the country, okay? So this is also culture. Moreover, the way we eat is also different, which is the culture. Each country have their own traditional food. For example, in Korea, they have kimchi. In Japan, they have sushi. In Cambodia, we have cocoa, or we have prohok, which is the most popular food that all of us know, which is that food is our identity. So in the module 2 of your Blueprint 6, you already know the title of the lesson 3. And the lesson 3 is about food, which is the word cuisines, which is the food all around the world. From the previous video, your teacher already taught you some of the key vocabulary. That is why in this video we are going to practice some of the exercise in our course book. So everyone, do you have the course book with you? Alright, if you have the course book with you right now, please open your books to page 26. and we will do and practice some of the exercise in that book together. Because on the whiteboard there is nothing here on the whiteboard. What I would like you to do is I would like you to draw the attentions to my computer screen, because I have prepared some slide lesson on my laptop. So everyone, without any further ado, let's look at the lesson. Alright, now everyone, you are looking at my computer screen, and as you can see, we are going to learn the module 2, which is about culture, and the lesson 3 is world cuisine. As you can see on the picture here, which is about the food that we will focus on today. So the main activity that you are going to do in this video is to listen to a speech about the researcher who will talk about his or her researching about food. In that presentation, there are two main activities for you to do. The first activity, you need to listen and decide the statement which is true or false. And the second activity, which is the last activity, you are going to do a summary, which is the gap filling exercise. You need to listen to the conversation or the speech again, and you need to supply the key informations to complete that summary. Now everyone, are you ready? Very good. So here I have 5 statements on the screen, and each statement you need to click on whether it is true or false. So to do this exercise, you need a skill to do it. So what is the listening skill that you need in order to do this exercise? Alright, you will learn the skill in order to listen and do this exercise. After you finish, listen to the speech first. So the first time that you listen to this speech, it might be a little bit difficult, but we will listen to this for 2 times in order to make you familiar. So listen everyone, listen carefully and pay attention to the information on the screen, because we have 5 sentences for you to decide whether this is true or false.
Track 8.
As the world gets smaller, people are becoming more familiar with foods from other countries. You've all probably noticed that some parts of the world have spicier food than others. For example, Indian food is much spicier in general than British or Norwegian food. This is especially true of meat dishes. An American researcher named Paul Sherman developed a theory to explain this, and it involves evolution. Sherman's theory is this: cultures in warmer southern climates have spicier cuisine than cultures in cooler northern climates. This is because spices like onions, garlic, and black pepper are natural medicines. All spices come from plants. Through evolution, plants developed these substances as natural protection against disease. These substances slow down the growth of bacteria and other germs, the same germs that are found in meat and make people sick. And here's the really important part: germs grow faster in warm climates. Over time, most people in warm climates became aware of this fact. They noticed that they weren't getting sick from meat that didn't have spices, and that meat with spices didn't make them sick as often. So they started using more spices to stay healthy. At the same time, people in cold climates weren't having as many problems with harmful germs in meat because cold temperatures naturally killed germs. Therefore, they developed milder cuisines. Sherman wanted to test his theory, so he studied thousands of recipes from around the world. And in fact, he found that the number of spices increased as the local temperature increased. For example, Norway has an average temperature of 3 degrees Celsius, and most Norwegian recipes had only 1 or 2 spices. In contrast, India has an average temperature of about 27 degrees Celsius. The average Indian recipe included at least 9 spices. If it's true, Sherman's theory is an interesting example of people creating customs to adapt to their natural surroundings.
As you can see, the listening is quite long and there are a lot of informations that you can hear from the speaker. This type of speech, which is a presentation, that is why you need to pay attention to the speaker in order to get the key information from the listening. So after you listen to the speech once, I hope you get some idea of what is the speaker speaking about. So let's check the answer all together. So the speaker, she is talking about Paul Sherman, and he is an American researcher. So number 1 stated that Paul Sherman is a British researcher, which is not true. So we are not going to click that. For the statement number 2, Sherman thinks species are natural medicine. So species are natural medicine, which is true. So this one is true. As you can see, this is the correct answer. Number 3, it is wrong. Based on Sherman, he thinks that germs grow faster in warmer climates, and those people who are living in the colder climates, they have low risk of getting infected by the germs. Number 4 and number 5, they are the correct information. Sherman studied recipe to test his theory. Alright, from the listening, you get to hear that he really put his theory into test. Number 5, people in colder climate use fewer spices, which is true because, as stated, spices are natural medicine, and people who are living in a warmer climate get low risk of germs, so they eat less spicy. However, in some countries such as India, they eat a lot of spices. Very good. So I hope some of you get the right answer and some of you still cannot get the right answer. Don't worry, because you will learn some of the listening tip and trick here in the lesson. So how can we spot and get all the correct answer from this type of listening? So in some situation, for example, in the IELTS test, you will see people who take the test and get low band score because of the listening. Because in IELTS test, the listening is natural. People speak very fast, so faster than that. But some candidate, they still manage to get the high band score of the listening test. So what is the reason why they get high band score regarding to the listening test? Are they native speaker? No, they are not. In order to get a good listening technique, you need a skill. So what are those skills that you need in order to listen and get the information? So here there are some skills that will help you in order to improve your listening. So here are 3 main skills that I would like to present to all of you, and I hope you can pick up each of these skills in order to apply to every listening exercise. It is better for you to combine the 3 skills together. The first one, which is the skill that you need to identify and locate the keywords. So what is keyword? Keyword refer to the word which is the main word of the sentence. It contains the important idea. So let's look at our exercise here. Number 1, Paul Sherman is a British researcher. So the keyword here, there are 2. The first one is the name. When you hear the name of this researcher, Paul Sherman, you need to pay attention. The second one is his nationality, British. So if you hear any word related to personality, Australian, Canadian, Swiss, or French, those are words related to the nationality. So you need to pay closely attention to these two keywords, whether you hear the word British or you hear something else. So these are the skills that you need to identify the keyword in each statement. So can you tell me for statement number 2, what is the keyword of the statement number 2? There are two main keywords here. The first one is spices and the second one is natural medicines. These are the key information that you need to pay closely attention when you listen to the speaker. How about the second skill is listen for important information only. As you listened earlier, it is a long speech, which is 2.5 minutes, but you need to read only 5 statements and decide those statements true or false. You don't need to pay close attention to every word the speaker is speaking, because some native speakers, they are speaking very fast, which is a little bit difficult for us to listen to, because we tend to listen to every word they are speaking. But here, if you want to get the most important information, you need to listen to the keyword and then find only the important information that you need. So the first one is to find the keyword. The second one is to be able to identify and record and keep only the important information. However, these two steps are not very effective without the last one, which is to take note. Take note is very, very important, because imagine you are listening to a 5-minute speech. What happened? There are a lot of informations. In the TOEFL test, you might have heard this, which is the American Standardized Test. We call it TOEFL test. The TOEFL test, one section, which is my own personal experience, they give you a piece of paper and they play the audio listening. You are not given the exercise item, but you just given a piece of paper and asked to listen to the speech. You need to take note of those important information. You need to be smart, because you cannot write the whole script of those people who are talking. So take note is very important. Talking about the TOEFL case, when I listen, I need to take note, but I cannot see the exam item. After I finish the note taking, they stop playing the type script and then they give me the exam paper, which is there's a lot of information. Hopefully, I am able to get my note and have most of the important information there. I am able to answer this question. That is why in this video lesson, I would like to suggest all of you to take note. You take note only the keywords, and you take note only the important information that you think it is very important for the topic. Okay, so these are the 3 main strategies for you in order to be able to become a better listener of English. So here, move on to the second activity. So the second activity, you need to listen to the speech again, and you remember you need to apply the 3 strategies that I present to you in order to do this exercise as well. What you need to do in this exercise is to listen to the speech and then put the words in the box to complete the summary. So here it is the summary, which is the short paragraph summarize the whole speech. So everyone, are you ready? So don't forget to apply the 3 strategies that I presented to you earlier. Now everyone, listen carefully.
Track 8.
As the world gets smaller, people are becoming more familiar with foods from other countries. You've all probably noticed that some parts of the world have spicier food than others. For example, Indian food is much spicier in general than British or Norwegian food. This is especially true of meat dishes. An American researcher named Paul Sherman developed a theory to explain this, and it involves evolution. Sherman's theory is this: cultures in warmer southern climates have spicier cuisine than cultures in cooler northern climates. This is because spices like onions, garlic, and black pepper are natural medicines. All spices come from plants. Through evolution, plants developed these substances as natural protection against disease. These substances slow down the growth of bacteria and other germs, the same germs that are found in meat and make people sick. And here's the really important part: germs grow faster in warm climates. Over time, most people in warm climates became aware of this fact. They noticed that they weren't getting sick from meat that didn't have spices, and that meat with spices didn't make them sick as often. So they started using more spices to stay healthy. At the same time, people in cold climates weren't having as many problems with harmful germs in meat because cold temperatures naturally killed germs. Therefore, they developed milder cuisines. Sherman wanted to test his theory, so he studied thousands of recipes from around the world. And in fact, he found that the number of spices increased as the local temperature increased. For example, Norway has an average temperature of 3 degrees Celsius, and most Norwegian recipes had only 1 or 2 spices. In contrast, India has an average temperature of about 27 degrees Celsius. The average Indian recipe included at least 9 spices. If it's true, Sherman's theory is an interesting example of people creating customs to adapt to their natural surroundings.
Alright, very good. Now you already listened to the speech for the second times. I hope you can catch up with the important information. Everyone, do you remember the strategy that I presented to you earlier? Right, there are 3 strategies. The first one is to identify and looking for the keyword. Here in this case, the word in the box are the keyword that you need to pay closely attention that you need to pay close attention to. The second one, this short box, which is the information that you need to read the sentence in order to get the important information. Last but not least, you need to take note. So I hope you get some of the answer here. So let's check the answer with me all together. Let's start here. It's easy to notice difference in foods from different parts of the world. So what is the answer? So food is spicier than British or Norwegian food. As you see, it compares the food of the country. So the space here, we need to apply the country. So the correct word that you need to apply here is India. So Indian food is spicier than British or Norwegian food. But why? A researcher named, here we supposed to be named, Paul Sherman has a theory involving evolution. Evolution. His theory suggests that people in warm, so we talk about the climate, in warm climates use more spices because spicy fight disease. Sherman study cuisines around the world to test his idea. So idea has the same meaning as theory. He found that places with higher generally use more spices, so higher temperatures. Very good. And I hope you get all the right answer because you already know how to listen, the strategy in order to improve your listening. So everyone, that's it for the video lesson today. And if you have any questions related to the lesson, You can ask in your online study group because we are always here to help you learn the lesson. So everyone, that's it for today and goodbye. See you again in the next one.